Hello and welcome back to the channel. Brandon Davidson here, and I'm the owner of Davidson Audio, where we specialize solely in the Indian motorcycle audio solutions for the riders. So in today's video, we're going to be going over something that a lot of people have been asking about, from social media pages to the YouTube channel, and that is, do you guys even offer anything for the Chieftain? Well, of course we do. So in this video, I'm going to be starting a series on the different audio specific products that we offer and make in-house for the Indian Chieftain. So enough talking, let's go on over to the bench and get talking about one of them specifically, and that is the amp plates. Alright, now it's time to discuss what our amp plate is, what's included, and then I have two examples of amplifiers already installed on them because we had two customers opt for a pre-install / tune package, which is where I go ahead, I pre-mount, pre-wire, pre-tune everything with a very basic audio tune, because people need to understand I send them all over the United States for an array of different customers. So it has to be a very safe general tune. Now with DSPs, if you take it to a local shop that has knowledge in how to tune a DSP, then you can have them retune the system to your liking. But enough about that. Let's discuss what the amp plate is and what's included, and then I'll give you the two examples. So the first thing is our actual amp plate here. This is out of a steel plate that we have already pre-cut and pre-drilled and tapped for two different amplifiers, which would be the Sound Digital Evo PS 800.4 and 1200.4, along with some OEM holes for some push tabs and 4 holes for the mounting itself. When you get one from us, it's already going to have 8 screws in it, 4 for mounting this to the bike and 4 for mounting your amplifier to this plate. And these obviously come in a nice black textured powder coat to help keep these protected and lasting a long time. So what else you will get with the amp plate is a fairing spacer kit that we source and provide with the amp plate. And the reason for this is that the aftermarket amplifiers we're installing in the OEM location of where Indian puts the OEM power units, it's very tight to the clamp on the handlebars. So we give you the hardware to space the fairing out a little ways, give you more clearance up in there. And then this way it also gives you a little bit more room to push your handlebars forward, give you a little bit more reach on your Chieftain, because I know for me, that was a big issue. So let me show you what is included in the fairing spacer portion of this. So first, we give you these aluminum spacers. Obviously there's 4 of them. I'm not going to try to juggle all 4 of them. You also get the new bolt that will thread into the OEM locations. So if you can follow with me here, we'll show you how to install this, but this will go between the triple tree clamp and the outer fairing metal part here. So you'll unbolt the OEM when you'll slide this in. This bolt will then go through the OEM fairing bracket into the spacer and then bolt to the triple tree, thus giving you the spacing of this fairing up and out. And then also we include a individual portion of blue thread locker, so that way you can put thread sealer on these, torque them down, and ensure that your fairing doesn't come loose from riding over time, because safety is a big concern of mine. So I want to make sure the products I'm giving you not only solve your audio problem, but also keep you safe. So we are going to get the fairing removed and get this bike disassembled some more to show you how to install this. Now, I already did an entire video on disassembling the Chieftain. If you haven't seen it, please go to the channel, or we'll drop a little thumbnail up here to that video. Click on that, or go to our channel, find the Indian Chieftain disassembly video, watch that, and we show you how to completely disassemble this bike. So no reason to do it again to make this video any longer. So I think what we're gonna do is, well, how about this? Because the power of editing, we can just edit it completely disassembled. So wow, and just like that, the bike is, the front end at least, is disassembled. So now at this point, we have to disassemble a few things, and this portion of it is going to be the same requirement for the amp plate, which is going to go right up under this part of the structure, and the DSP mounting plate, which is going to be up here. That will be the following video to this video. So let's get y'all repositioned. We're going to go ahead and disassemble the windshield mounting bracket and this upper inner fairing piece, I'm going to call it. That way we can gain access to some hardware, get the OEM power unit and bracket removed, and then we can get our aftermarket stuff installed. All right, now we're at the front of the bike, and we're going to be worrying about taking off the windshield mounting bracket and the upper inner fairing piece here. There's only a couple of tools that are needed, and for this we are going to need a 13mm socket, which is going to be utilized to take this nut right here off. We are going to need a 6mm Allen, which will be for this side of the bolt. Then we're going to be using a 5mm, which is used for mounting the windshield frame to the arms here. And then we're going to need a 4mm, along with, I like to use this screwdriver handle, because there's a screw right here from the speaker enclosure facing up, 2 more here, and 1 more over here. This is where the speaker is, right in front of it. There's a bolt, if you look right to the top of it, and that's what we're gonna be taking off. So let's first get started with this bottom bolt, and then we'll work our way up to here to get this windshield mounting bracket taken off. Just like that, our windshield frame, support frame, bracket, whatever you want to call it, is removed. Now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the 4mm screws that hold this upper inner fairing portion on. Again, there is one right here in the speaker enclosure at the top, same over here, and there's 2 more right here. But don't forget, we're going to take this off first, fish the USB through, and then we're going to take the 4 screws out and pull this off. And just like that, our upper inner fairing is removed, and you'll notice my cubby compartment isn't here because mine broke and I need to replace it. So let's go ahead and set this aside, and then we can get going over what else there is to do. All right, now that we have the windshield frame support bracket unbolted, removed, and we've taken the upper inner fairing piece off, now it's time to remove your factory power unit. Now you'll either have 1 or 2 of them in here depending on what you have going on. In this box, it's gonna be located up in here. There's gonna be one here for sure. There could be one over here, and they will be installed up in this orientation with the plugs coming down. So in order to remove these, mine have already been taken out, and at this current moment, I don't know where the upper bracket is, but there's going to be 3 to 4 bolts that you're going to have to remove. These 2 upper ones right here will be a 10mm. They're just 10mm bolts, and there's a bracket that goes all the way across here, and what that bracket does is once it's bolted all the way up, it holds these feet up against the bracket to hold the amplifier or the power unit in place. And then right here and over here are 2 more bolts, but these will be a bolt with a nut on the bottom, so both 10mm. That's what goes through here to hold the power unit at the bottom. So like I said, you'll most likely have one here. If you have one over there too, it's the same process. Take these bolts out, make sure you unplug the power unit. On the brake side, you will have these two connectors. You'll have a 6 and a 20 pin, which will orient to here and here. So that's how it would be plugged in. And then over on the clutch side, either you'll have this 20 pin plugged into a power unit over here, or if there is none, this will just have a cap on it sitting out of its way. So that is how you're going to go through the process of removing one or both of your power units if your bike so does choose to have one or both. So just take this out, set that aside, and then again, you're going to take these two bolts out, take that bracket out. None of that's going to get reused, but those mounting hole locations will be. Now we're going to go ahead and take off these wiring harnesses to give us room to slide up in here and also access the 4 fairing frame, the fairing frame mounting bracket or the fairing itself. So it's going to be a simple 10 millimeter here. You can take this off and then that bracket will fold down, and then I have my typical panel removal tool here. So let's go ahead and get this done, and then we're going to attack the new fairing spacer kit. Okay, at this point, you could just take the amp plate and slide it right up in here and bolt it in utilizing the same 4 factory holes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to bolt it in with an actual amplifier on it. So that way, if you'd already chosen to get a Davidson audio pre-installed and tuned package, then this would be how you would do it. So first, we're going to go ahead and install the fairing spacer kit that we offer now. And that is going to be addressing these 4 OEM bolts that hold the fairing on now. So you don't have to go taking off the lock nut here. We're just going to go ahead and unthread the 4 studs. That will take the nut with it, and then we will go in the reverse order and put our fairing spacer kit on there. So for this, you're just going to need a simple 4 millimeter Allen because these are indexed in here. So I've already loosened these up. So let's go ahead and remove the 4 of them, and then we will go ahead and get our fairing spacer kit put in. All right, now that we have the 4 mounting studs and lock nuts removed, now it's time to go ahead and take our new hardware and go ahead and loosely install it, because you're going to still want some room to pivot this when you're sliding that amplifier in there, especially a 1200.4, because it's super close and you need just a little bit of extra wiggle room to get it up in here. All you're going to need for this is a 12 millimeter socket, and then obviously a torque wrench, which we will give you those torque specs at the end. And as you saw, we did hold on to the OEM washers because we will be using them again. You're going to put the washer on first. This is going to go through the fairing bracket itself, then through here, and then screw on to the bike itself. So I like to start at the bottom as it's a little bit easier because you can just reach it from the back side. So start with the bottom 2, and like I said, we're only going to go a thread or 2, and then we're going to move to the top 2, do the same thing, and then we'll go with the amp bracket. All right, now that we have all 4 bolts loosely installed, this one I had to pull back out and go back in because the angle I had it was going to start cross-threading it. So let's grab the 2 different pre-installed setups that we have so we can show them to you, and then also we'll go ahead and we'll install the 1200.4 in here for y'all to finish the video off. All right, so here are 2 examples of pre-set up amplifiers on our amp plates already. This is the Sound Digital Evo PS 800.4, and this right here is the Sound Digital 1200.4 Evo PS amplifiers. And the reason we use Evo PS series on the Indians is because the locations of these OEM power units and where I put the aftermarket amplifiers is susceptible to, you know, when you're washing your bike or some road water or splashing and whatnot. So these do a great job at protecting against the elements from that, from like splashing and whatnot. So as you can see on here, both of these are positively installed on our bracket. And as you can see, these are pre-wired. So the power, ground, speaker wire, remote all have quick disconnects on them. And the wiring is color coordinated for different locations. And then you can see there's a 12 position quick disconnect right there. That's a Deutsch connector. So that way, once these are slid up in there, you can easily make 3 wiring connections and then route the RCA wires down, plug them in, and you're all good to go. So we've really taken the time to try and make these as install friendly as possible. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna set aside the 800.4 Evo PS, and we're gonna go ahead and install the 1200.4 in here and show you how to do that, how it looks. All right, now it's time to actually get our 1200.4 installed up in the fairing. Now what you're gonna wanna do is you're gonna wanna take this, flip it over, and you'll see there's a oriented rectangle that's going to correlate to here, and then we even went as far as these 2 holes are going to correlate to these 2 where there are some OEM push pins. That way we are oriented for those as well to leave room. So first thing you're going to want to do is just go ahead and take out these bottom 2, make sure the top 2 have a couple of threads in to give us more room to wiggle this in there, because the 1200.4 is a large amplifier. Now with those removed, it gives us a little bit more room to move this. So we're just gonna push these wires out of the way and get this amplifier installed up in there. And now you're good to go ahead and put the bottom 2 bolts and spacer back in. Now at this point, make sure you take a little bit of the blue Loctite. I would put a little bit on these 4 mounting screws first, and then put a little dab on these 4, and we'll go ahead and get them torqued down. And just like that, we've finished the installation process of installing our Davidson audio amp plate that utilizes the same OEM location that Indian decided to put the 2 OEM power units in. I felt it was a good place to fit an amplifier in there. And like I said, we can get the Sound Digital Evo PS 800.4 or the Sound Digital 1200.4 Evo PS in there as well. And as you can see, it tucks right up in there, all the way up in there. Very nice fit and finish. And we didn't go through the process of putting the entire upper inner fairing piece back on, because in the next video, we're going to show you where we put our DSP, which is a digital signal processor up here. So the process of getting this all put together is the opposite of how we took it apart. So it's very straightforward, very easy to do. And I did not find the torque specs on these in the service manual. I only found the lock nuts. So we will get the stud torque specs and we'll put it somewhere here on screen for you all to make sure you are torquing those down correctly. But that being said, that is how we here at Davidson Audio install our amplifiers in the Chieftain. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative, and I hope it helps you when you start planning your audio system for your Indian Chieftain, that this could be a solution for you. And again, if you want, you can get a hold of us and we have no problem pre-installing, pre-tuning your system for you. So that way it is this simple. So you have 3 connections here to make and you go about your life. So with that being said, I'm Brandon Davidson, the owner of Davidson Audio, and I'm out.